Liberty Nation. Truth is making a comeback.
Joining us today from Trafalgar Square in London, the United Kingdom, are our managing editor Mark Angelides and correspondent Laura Valkovic. Now, Mark calls Britain his home, but Laura hails from Australia. Tell us both what you saw today and what you experienced in terms of the protest.
Today it was one of the biggest rallies I've ever seen. There was 20,000 people gathered in Trafalgar Square, marched down Whitehall, right outside the Prime Minister's residence in Downing Street, listened to speeches, chanted slogans, demanded that the Prime Minister and the British government and Mir Sadiq Khan sit up and listen to the demands that they want their freedom back, their freedom to speak, their freedom to express themselves. A lot of passion, a lot of great speakers, a lot of flags, a lot of causes coming together from different sides, from different political perspectives. All coming together in one cause.
The crowd was quite a mix of people. I think people came from all over the country to express their support here in the centre of government. We spoke to Ben Fuller, who was a protester who came. He travelled to London on the train this morning from a city in the north of the country just to be here.
Hi, I'm here with Ben Fuller, who's chairman of the UKIP Hull branch. Ben, thanks for being here. Can you tell us a little bit about why you're here today?
We're here today for the freedom of Tommy Robinson. He's a political prisoner. He's been arrested for freedom of speech. Basically, he spoke outside the Crown Courts in Leeds, and they arrested him for that, some sort of false allegations. So we're here today to try and free him.
Okay, and what do you think the result will be of today's rally?
To be honest, I don't think they'll free him because that will prove that they've given in. But hopefully it'll raise some awareness to people.
We spoke to a lady who was collecting donations in support of families who have lost their children to terrorist attacks. So there was quite a mix of people here. We saw a Swedish flag, people from Europe, who've all come to participate today.
Now, Mark, we've heard extensively from the mainstream media that Tommy Robinson is a racist and an Islamophobe. Was that the crowd you saw today?
Not at all, no. There was nothing that I would consider racist spoken about today. The speaker certainly didn't give off any racist vibes. There was certainly no symbology, no racist flags or questionable politics flags. People talked a lot about, it was more about unity, about it coming together, especially the last speaker talked about it. It doesn't really matter about Muslim, Hindu, Jew, Christian. It's all irrelevant. We need to come together and demand our freedoms and our rights together. There was a good range of people there, different colours, different faiths. It was a good mix of people, good mix of beliefs.
Laura, did you notice any American presence whatsoever, or any American type flags or anything like that?
I definitely did, Lisa. I don't know how many Americans as such were there themselves, but there was definitely some American imagery to do with the American Revolution in particular. There was, I saw a few "Don't Tread on Me" flags, and also some imagery to do with President Trump, some flags in support of him, and I saw someone wearing a Trump mask. So yeah, there was a kind of echoes of the USA there today.
Now, Mark, you reported on, and we published, that there was essentially a jamming of the internet or an information blackout during the rally. Tell us about that.
Yeah, about an hour before people started gathering en masse to get started, the internet in the protest area, which is from Trafalgar Square all the way down Whitehall, the internet basically cut out. We spoke to a lot of people who were saying that for some reason their internet's just stopped working. People couldn't get out the live streams that they wanted to do. It was very, very intermittent. We brought along our own pocket hotspot so we could counter this, but it didn't work. It was completely shut down. Now, strangely enough, the very second you stepped outside of the protest area, all of a sudden, there's wonderful internet, 4G, that you could use, and it was great and it was fast. Step back into the protest area and good luck. Can't even get a tweet out. So yeah, I would certainly guess that some kind of jamming of the internet was happening today.
Would you tell us a little bit about the speakers today? Who was there and what they had to say? And essentially, were we talking about 1,000 people, or how many people were there?
Oh, well, Raheem Kassam, the former editor-in-chief of Breitbart London, was hosting, I suppose, and he estimated around 20,000 people in attendance. So, it was quite a big event. In terms of speakers, there was a mix of kind of fringe politicians from parties like the UKIP, the UK Independence Party. There were some authors. One, probably the biggest name was definitely Geert Wilders, the Dutch politician, who spoke about Europeans coming together to, I guess he spoke about the Second World War and the European heritage, about fighting off kind of
fascism, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a very powerful, impressive speech. I thought. He talked about how we all need to come together to defend what basically our fathers and grandfathers fought for 75 years ago, because he feels that that's very much under threat, and it began by limiting what people were allowed to say, what people were allowed to think, and got out of control from there. And it was quite moving to hear him talk about people all over Europe being proud of their individual cultures, but how they needed to come together to stop tyranny of bureaucrats and government who would rather have us silent.
Mark, can you give us a little sense of your personal reflection of today? Well,
I got to tell you, it kind of blew me away. It was huge. I've not seen anything like that. We can see, when we see 20,000 people, normally it's in a stadium and people are sat down. To see 20,000 people, wild and angry and but motivated and driven at the same time, it really blew me away. I felt that something big was happening here. I don't think that this is the end of the Free Tommy protest. Not that this was really about Tommy Robinson. This was about freedoms and about our ability to live in society, expressing ourselves how we wish to do so freely. I don't feel that this was the end result of this culmination. I felt that it was more the beginning. There's tours going to be taking place all over the country. Many of the speakers are going on tour to get to the other cities and rile people up. I think it's the beginning of something very big.
All right. Well, thank you both for being willing to go into harm's way to stand up for liberty and freedom. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa.
Liberty Nation. News and commentary, minus the propaganda. LibertyNation.com.